Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrupa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. My pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved ever-present Swami. Sairam to all of you, brothers and sisters and elders. My respectful pranams to them too. Thank you for having me here on this very auspicious occasion of Krishna Janmashtami. I was there in Dharmakshetra yesterday and I know the celebrations continue today. I know we are also a little bit late starting because they told me that people were having a hard time getting here because of the traffic and other reasons. Otherwise, normally I would have insisted with Brother Iyer here to start at 6 o'clock. Because when we give a plan to Swami, Swami is there at 6 o'clock. So I am a little afraid to make my beloved Swami to wait for me. But since it was a difficult day for all of you today to get here because of all of the different celebrations, and I saw all the pots hanging from various treetops, I know it must have been difficult. So thank you for taking the trouble to come here and help me share the idea of Namasmarana with you. Namasmaranam dhanyopayam. Swami always says in the Kali Yuga, the easiest way to reach me is to sing about my glory or talk about my glory or hear about my glory. Either one of them will do. So we are all very fortunate to sit together and speak about this divine being who took the trouble to come down in this miniature form so that we could all experience him from his cosmic form to the human form and learn from his behavior how to be better human beings. I can only share with you all whatever I saw and learned, and I don't like to say learned, whatever I saw and listened and thought about in his presence. Because we are all in the process of learning. We may see, we may hear, we may understand, but it's very difficult to practice. We all know that. And it's the same thing for me too. But I was fortunate because I was born into a family that came to Swami at a very early time in 1943, when there were no devotees, there were no books, no microphones, no audiences, no building, nothing in Puttaparthi. So the only people Swami had was us, and the only thing we had was Swami. So Swami spent all his time. I remember during my childhood years in Puttaparthi, when Prashanti Nilayam was built, my parents, of course, all used to go to the Patha Mandiram, the old mandir which you have all read or seen. But after I was born, the new Prashanti Nilayam was built. Of course, now even that is new. But the old Prashanti Nilayam, which you will see in the old photographs, the square building, there used to be 8 rooms where now the huge South Prashanti complex is. I'm sure you've all seen that. One of the rooms my grand-uncle Sheshgiri Rao used to live. He was Swami's personal attendant. He was actually not a priest by profession. He was an engineer. But he saw Swami and lived in Puttaparthi. And since he came from a community which knew how to do pujas, Swami asked him to look after the mandir. So actually he looked after Swami. He would iron Swami's robe. He would get his water ready for his bath. He would walk wherever Swami went and desperately carry Swami's slippers behind him, begging Swami to wear it because the sands of Puttaparthi was so hot and Swami would refuse to wear slippers when the constructions were going on. So the Puttaparthi that I knew as a child is very different from the Puttaparthi that many of you have seen now. It was a Stone Age village. There was nothing available. And I won't go into the description of Puttaparthi's travel because we already talked about it at Dharmakshetra, and if you were not there, I'm sure you'll be able to listen to it at some point. So the Prashanti Nilayam that I went to with a small 8 rooms, Swami would be there all the time in our room, and it was a small little room. Hardly maybe if you put 4 or 5 tables like this, it's a room. And in that room we used to have a stove. And we were all 8 families. We used to go from Bangalore. And we would be about 25-30 of us. The room was only used to keep our suitcase. We used to lie on the sand, sleep on the sand outside, where many of you have been to Prashanti Nilayam. The eucalyptus trees are, where the ladies enter into the mandir. So we used to sleep on the sand and only go into the room to bring our clothes out. Because we had to go down to Chitravati Road to take our bath. in the palm roofed little bathrooms, you know. So that's where we are. And Swami, first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock, after his bath, 9 o'clock, he will be sitting in our room. And in that room, my aunt and my granduncle who lived there, my grandfather, Sheshgir Rao, we used to have a trunk which we have carried from Bangalore to Parthi. And on the trunk, we used to put a pillow. And on that pillow, we used to put a silk cloth. And that trunk was always ready. That was Swami's asana, not the beautiful chairs that you have. And he would forever come and sit there. And my aunt would continuously beg, have you finished your bath, Swami? Why don't you go and get ready? Because we wanted him to leave the room so that we could get ready. But the Lord would say, no, I finished at 6 o'clock. So if he finished at 6 o'clock, it means tomorrow morning we have to go at 4 o'clock and get ready. Because he'll come here at 6 o'clock. Then they would say, Swami, breakfast is ready, go. I'm not hungry yet. I'm going to sit here. So then our breakfast is delayed because they cannot cook in the kerosene stove in front of Swami there. So that Swami was with us. And then we would all go into the mandir and have the bhajans, where many times as a child, Swami himself was one of the lead singers. And we would all be looking at Swami's picture, and Swami will also look at his own picture and sing. And sometimes, you know, we children would be fidgety. So he would say, children, keep watching the picture. Because, you know, children are children. We are looking here and there who is singing. Even now, when we sit for bhajan, we are worried who Shruti will go wrong, who will put the wrong talam, who will bang on the kanjira. You know, mind wanders. Na? Swami says the mind is a monkey mind. Once he told me, mind, not only monkey mind, drunken monkey mind. Not only drunken monkey mind, bitten by a scorpion, he said. So you can imagine our mind, even 1 second it cannot sit still. So we children were worse off with this monkey mind. So he would tell us, because he wanted to teach us the idea of concentration. When you sit down to do something, you have to concentrate, otherwise you cannot succeed. I'm sure the men and women here know, whether it is your profession or whether it is your cooking, you have to concentrate. If you're talking on the phone about some program and cooking, you will have put salt twice. That day there will be more salt or less salt, more tamarind or less tamarind, something will go wrong. So concentration is required first. Meditation only comes later. First you require concentration. So Swami said, look at the picture today. So we all knew something is going to happen with that picture. We don't know when, we don't know which bhajan, and we don't know when during the 1 hour bhajan. So our concentration is on the picture. Which picture? We don't know. So there are 2 pictures, Shirdi Baba and Satya Sai Baba. We are looking at both. And the ladies are singing, the elders are singing. And suddenly, somebody will sing one Shiva bhajan. So the beautiful garland around the picture would unhook and become like a snake on top of the picture. It will unhook, become a snake. Sometimes somebody will sing a Krishna bhajan and the garland will come across the mouth of Swami like a flute. So this was the kind of things that he would show, so that we would learn how to concentrate. So you are focused on what you are doing. So this was the Swami. My Swami was a mother to me, father to me. Like I said, I was very fortunate to be born into this family which knew Swami at a very early age. Whatever the past good deeds of the elders, at a time when there was nobody to recognize Swami, they recognized Swami somehow. It was his will. Because who will believe an 18-year-old boy if he says, I am God? They'll take him to the mental asylum. But somehow they believed, and in fact, I was saying in one of my talks in the US, they were saying, the technology has become instantaneous. Mrs. Geeta, your talk is here, it's already uploaded and it's on YouTube. I said, I come from a generation of Sai devotees when there was no Sanatana Sarati also. When the Sanatana Sarati was started by Kasturi Garu, who is the writer of the Satyam Shivam Sundaram, I'm sure all of you have been to Prashanti Nilayam once or the other. There is a road that goes from Prashanti Nilayam to the stadium, way back near the General Hospital. There used to be 2 or 3 small rooms there. And in those rooms, which were quite a crude construction, the first Sanatana Sarati office was started. And the first Sanatana Sarati was only in Telugu. And there were only articles written by Swami in Telugu. Slowly it was translated to English and then much later, of course, to many things. So Kasturiji would be in that place, and Swami came all the way to Bangalore to purchase a manual printing machine. And I know many of the younger generation will not even know what a manual printing machine. You know, you have to set the type upside down so that when you put the sheet and you turn the wheel, a mirror image of the upside down letter will come and the nice print will come. So they would put the typeset. Kasturiji was 60s, in his 60s would put the typeset for each sentence for the page, typeset it. Then you had to paint it with ink very carefully so that there's not too much ink. Then you put the sheet on top and then you roll the wheel and one sheet will be printed. Like that he used to print the Sanatana Sarathi. Please thank Kasturi anytime you open the Sanatana Sarathi and read it. He was an elderly man, was an older man who used to do this every day. Typeset it, paint it, set it and think. So my cousins and I, when we were in Prashanti Nilayam for our holidays and other times, we were young children, the elders would be cooking or washing clothes. In between, beg Swami to go to his room so that they could go to Chitravati to wash the... Please Swami, we have to wash clothes. Please go, we can go and wash our dishes and clothes. And he would reluctantly go to rest, and that's when they would... So at that time, we children would be restless. So the elders would send us to the Sanatana Sarathi office in the 60s. Say, go and help Kasturi Garu print. Of course, my older cousins found good reasons to escape. But my cousin and I would go. They used to put one old shirt on us, you know, like old shirts. Because the ink will splash and your clothes will become black. So they put a shirt on us and we would help him turn the wheel. And then each sheet has to take out and spread it on the floor so that the ink dries. And if he has made one word mistake upside down, then he has to reset the whole type and redo. It was a very tedious. Then after it was done, all the pages, it was not very big book. It was used to have 10 pages or so. We had to staple it. After stapling it, put brown pieces of paper around it, write the addresses of the people who wanted Sanatana Sarathi, put the stamps, and then take it to Penakonda to post it. Because there was no post office in Puttaparthi. So this was a long procedure. Every month it had to be done. The reason, I don't know why I am telling you this story, but I was just thinking that here we are all, you know, in the 21st century where everything is instantaneous. But the spiritual path is not instantaneous. It is a slow path because you have to learn slowly, you have to imbibe slowly, you have to understand slowly, and practice takes even longer. But Swami, once you take that one step, he never forgets you. He'll hold his hand and take you along that path. So this Sanatana Sarathi, I just will share this incident since I started it. I was there, small girl of 9 or 10 years old, and helping Mr. Kasturi. My cousin somehow had escaped, my uncle's son. So we were there, I was there and very carefully putting all the paper on the floor so that it dries. And Swami, after bhajan in the Prashanti Nilayam, came to see. You know, he used to come and check. So he used to walk all the way there to that room, and he saw. What had happened is, while doing all this press work, the ink had splashed on my clothes. There was some ink on my cheeks. So I had ink marks, I believe. Swami came and smacked and said, what are you doing? You're getting ink on your face. So Kasturi Garu said, no, Swami, she has been helping me. Little girl, you know, she has been. So Swami pinched me on my cheeks and said, very good, you have helped a lot. Kasturi, she has helped? No, Swami, from 9 o'clock in the morning she has been helping. Small girl. So Swami was very sweet. He said, oh, you have helped so much. Don't worry, Bangaro. I'll put your name in Sanatana Sarathi. Exactly. The people who came with him also laughed. Who will put a 10-year-old girl's name in Sanatana Sarathi, and for what reason? So everybody laughed. Whoever was with Swami who had come with him. And I also laughed. I thought, why are they laughing? You know, when you're 10 years old, you think everything is true. Whatever the elders say, they're true. So that's all. Swami just joked, looked at the Sanatana Sarathi, the printings, and went back to the Nilayam. And of course, you know, my life went on, everybody's life went on. Swami got me married. I went away to the US. I had 2 children. Years went by. Sanatana Sarathi from that book has become Radio Sai, Global Radio, everything now. From that communication dissemination has become a worldwide thing now. At Swami's 80th birthday, Swami asked me to speak. And I spoke in Sai Kulvanthal Ladies' Day and all that. And unfortunately, the day after Swami's birthday, my mother-in-law, after she came and attended the birthday celebrations of Swami, went back on 24th morning, 24th night, after doing bhajan and having cooked for my father-in-law. It was a Thursday, she had made some upavas, whatever she had made. She called me up and said, "Are you also back from Parthi?" I said, "Yes, I'm with my mother." And at 11 o'clock in the night, she had a massive heart attack and passed away on 24th of November. So, of course, the ceremonies and all went on. And then on the 14th day, I went back to Puttaparthi with my husband, we had to tell Swami. And Swami called us in, and he was very kind to my husband. And he said, "What is there to cry? She has come to me, you should be celebrating. You should be celebrating. Look at her. She came for Swami's birthday. She celebrated. She listened to her daughter-in-law speak in Sai Kulwant Hall in front of so many people. She was so proud of the whole thing. She has gone back now. What is there to cry? Don't cry." So he talked. And then in the windowsill of Swami's interview room, there were several Sanatana Sarathis and everything. Suddenly he looked at me and said, "I told you, right? I'll put your name. Your name has come." I'm like, "What, Swami?" I was 10 years old. When Swami's 80th birthday, I was 50 years old. This is 40 years later. He is telling me as though he told me yesterday. "I told you, I put your name. I put your name." I said, "What, Swami? I don't know." "Chappanu kada Sanatana Sarathilo vestanu nu vachesindi." He said, "I told you, no. I'll put your name in Sanatana Sarathi." I said, "I don't know what you're saying, Swami. I didn't understand." I told you when you were putting out all the sheets in the Sanatana Sarathi office, you had black ink on your face. I told you I'll put your name. It has come. And he opens the Sanatana Sarathi, and in the back page, the report of Swami's 80th birthday. In that it says, "On Ladies' Day, Mrs. Geeta Ram spoke about Swami's glory." 40 years later, my dear brothers and sisters, the spiritual path is slow. We wonder sometimes. I'm praying every day. I'm going to Saiprem every weekend. Every Thursday I'm doing Narayan Seva. How come Swami never hears my prayers? But we have to look within ourselves as to why that is. Why is Swami not hearing our prayers? Are we really focusing? Are we really practicing? It's a very difficult path. I have asked those questions for myself many times. But the moment you focus and the moment you connect to Him, He will immediately respond. And I have absolutely no doubt in that. Whatever may be, very silly thing also, He will immediately respond. I was just telling my dear friend Vidya, who has brought me all the way from Bangalore to here. I've stayed with her. She is my spiritual sister. We shared 2 beds, one next to the other in the summer course in 1974 in Brindavan. That's how we became friends. Old souls meeting again. So we became friends, and she brought me, and I was telling her, even if it is the smallest prayer, it depends on how we connect to Him. On my 25th wedding anniversary, I came to Puttaparthi to see Swami. Swami had got me married in Brindavan. So 25th anniversary from US, my husband and I came. Swami talked to us with a lot of love and grace. I said, "Swami, 25 years. He said, "Yeah, I know you're becoming old," he said. So, "Yes, Swami, I'm becoming old." He said, "Look at me. I always look young. You're becoming old," he said. So, yes, Swami has been my mother, my friend, jokes, everything. And Swami, I said, I've never seen Shirdi, Swami. Can I go to Shirdi? He said, "Oh, you have not seen Shirdi? Go and see the old man," he said. So, "Swami, shall I go?" He said, "Yes, go. When you go to Shirdi," he gave me the whole topography of Shirdi. He said, "Go and see Dwarka Mai. Then there is a family there where Shirdi Baba gave 9 coins, Navavidha Bhakti. They have put it in a frame. You go and see that." The whole Shirdi scenario where the road goes. Then he told me there is a Gujarati restaurant. You go and eat there because there is no garlic and onion, because I don't eat garlic. Everything he told me. Go to Gujarati restaurant. Food will suit you. Little sweet, but it will suit you. Everything he told me about Shirdi, as though he was going with us. Then he said, you go and you come. Don't worry about food. Everything will be fine. Because for me, food is an issue. I don't eat garlic. I don't eat onion. So it's an issue wherever I go. So Swami gave us permission. We went to Shirdi, had beautiful darshan there. Went to every street, thinking of this lovely Swami as an old man walking these streets, crying in many places where he may have begged for food. This Swami now in this life, when we give him food, he doesn't want to eat. But in the previous incarnation, he had to beg for food. What is this Maya of these avatars also? So we went around, enjoyed everything, got into the train. That KK Express from Delhi to Bangalore was 9 hours late. So we had eaten and went and stood in that station. There's nothing there in the station to eat. We got into the train. It was almost 6:30 or 7 in the evening. And I was just starving. I was so hungry. And they gave food in the train, but I couldn't eat it because it had garlic. So we were sitting and my husband was scolding me, saying, eat something. How can you go till tomorrow morning Bangalore without eating anything? So I was sitting. And finally, he's my mother, he's my father, he's my friend. So I started to scold him. I said, what is this? This Swami said, don't worry about the food. And here I am starving in some KK Express, which is 9 hours late. And full of mosquitoes also. So I said, where's this? No food, nothing. Why did he tell us to go to Shirdi? We could have just been happy seeing him only in Prashanti Nilayam. All this, when you're hungry, you get angry. Swami always says, when you're hungry, you get angry. So I was getting angry. And my husband said, why you are scolding Swami? There's plenty of other food. But this is an express train. It doesn't stop anywhere even to get chai. So we were sitting there. Around 10 o'clock, it stopped at some station, I don't remember. And there was some hangama going on, lot of noise in the train. And then one police officer entered our little coupe where 4 people can stay. He entered. And suddenly he started to dust out everything, put one sheet on the opposite seat, what's going on. And then this very nice, smart-looking young lady, maybe in her early 40s, walked in. And she said, oh, hello, how are you? And, somebody saluted her. So we knew she was some VIP. She came and sat there, and then they went away. And I started to talk to her, and she said, well, we said, we are from the US, we are just visiting. Oh, and she said, oh, my husband is the collector of Anantapur district in Andhra Pradesh. I am collector of some other district in Tamil. We are both IAS officers. And, I am traveling to Bangalore to meet him. And we all said, oh, we are also Sai Baba's devotees, we told her. So we started to chat. She said, yes, my husband as a collector went to see him. I am not a devotee. Neither was my husband. When he went there, he gave a ring. Something she told us. And while we were talking, suddenly 2 more police officers came, saluted her. And they brought one huge carrier and set up one disposer, one of those portable tables for her. So she was feeling very embarrassed because, this huge dabba for one lady, as tall as me. So she said, why don't you please share the food with me? Because they will feel very hurt if I don't eat. I'm not really hungry. Why don't you share the food? So of course our ears were very sharp. We are hungry as it is. So then she said, but we don't know whether she is vegetarian, non-vegetarian. We don't know what the food in the dabba there. So we said, okay. She said, no, there's only one problem. So I said, okay, gone. She probably says she has got chicken or something, I can't eat. So she says, no, there's only one problem. I don't eat onions or garlic. So the food will probably be a little mild, without onion and garlic. If you don't mind that, I'd love to share. I said, are you crazy? We want food without onion and garlic. So while the poor lady ate little bit, we both were hogging away from her dabba. Finished. So then we both, my husband and I, looked at each other. See, even in a moment of anger, if your heart connects to him and says, Swami, you promised me, where are you? You have to connect. You have to connect to him. So we came to Bangalore. Following day went to Parthi because we had to. Swami had said, after you go and see, come and tell me how your trip. So we went to Prashanti Nilayam. He calls us inside. And he said, Shirdi etlunindi, how was Shirdi? Very nice, Swami. You saw everything? Yes, Swami, we saw this, we saw that. And then he said, yeah, you were crying thinking about me begging. Begging was not for food. Begging was for love. He said, begging was not for food. Begging was for love. Begging for love. God begs for the love of his devotees. I was begging. All that he said. Yes, Swami, went very nice, Swami, due to your grace. Then he said, before I could send the lady, how much you want to scold me? The station has to come. It's an express train. Train has to stop and the lady has to get in. Before she gets in, you are scolding me. What can I do? No patience. No patience. Yes, Swami. See, no food, no garlic, no onion, right? Yes, Swami. No onion, no garlic. I know. Enjoy. So this is that Swami. He will respond to the way we think of him. You think of him as far away, he is far away. You think of him as near, he is near. It's all in our own mind. Once my sons, Arun and Varun, they were 9 and 10 years old. I will just take a break for a second and ask brother here, how long can I speak? 15-20 minutes. So 7:15 is okay? Okay. So my brothers Arun and Varun, my sons Arun and Varun were young. And we were in the interview room and Swami was talking to them with a lot of love. What are you boys doing? Which grade are you? How many marks and all that? And then Swami suddenly said, hey boys, both of my sons sing quite well, and one plays the harmonium and the other plays the tabla for our Sai Center in South Bethesda in Washington DC. We have one of the oldest centers in the US. Every Sunday we get about 350 to 400 people who attend the bhajan, and we have very, very good bhajan. We do a lot of different activities. Anyway, my 2 sons have grown up in that center. So, hey boys, what do you want? He asked. They were just 9-10 years old. So they said, Swami, we want to be near you. We don't want to be so far away in America. We want to be near you. Where are you now? We are very far, Swami. We are in America, Washington, D.C. They were trying to explain geography to Swami. The Lord who has created the whole universe. Very far. Washington, D.C., very far? So immediately the children, yes, Swami, very far. It takes 1.5 days to get there by flight. So Swami also, to give the children a chance to talk. Then he said, you know how to spell far? Yes, how to spell? Yes, Swami, we know F-A-R, far. Oh, how do you spell near? N-E-A-R, near. You are not far or near to me, it is all in your heart. So no, Swami, we are very far, Swami. We want to be very near. So he said, you know what far is? F-A-R. Father, he said, pointing to himself. Father, A, always, R, ready. Father, always ready. You only have to call. You know what near is spelling? N-E-A-R. You are near physically. N-E-A-R. But what is the use? N, never. E, enlightened. A, always. R, repeating. Always repeating the same mistakes and never enlightened. But physically you are near. What is the use? It is better to be far away and call Father. Father always ready to come. What is the use of being physically near but never enlightened but making the same mistakes? So, Bangaru, the physical distance is not important. How far I am, how near you are, that's not important. Heart has to call out. Heart has to be near. Heart has to be filled with. So that is far and near for Swami. For Swami who can instantaneously be in any place at any time, the distance is not important. Even his physical form is not present. It is not important because he is not that form. He is the energy that is within the form. Once I asked him, Swami, is your leg hurting? Because Swami was limping. Leg hurting? He said, I am not this body, I am energy. Why are you asking about my leg? Ask about me. He said, what does that mean? That is energy. So even his physical presence being absent doesn't mean anything. So quickly he can come to your response to you. I will give you one other incident. I am very far away physically in United States of America. Not so fortunate as all of you who can quickly run to Prashanti Nilayam whenever you want, even when his form was there. It was Swami's 75th birthday. The whole world was celebrating 75th birthday. But I could not come to the celebrations in Puttaparthi because I was the Balavikas coordinator of our center. And we had about 150 children with about 16 Balavikas gurus. And we had a very nice program there. And it was my duty to be there. Swami had asked me during the summer when I had seen him, "Are you coming for 75th? I said, "No, Swami, I am the Balavikas coordinator." "Celebrate grandly. I will be there for your celebration," he told me. So we were even more enthusiastic that Swami will be here in some form. We should all celebrate in Washington, D.C. So I was very busy and we were doing lot of rehearsals. The day before Swami's birthday, on the 22nd of November, for us in the US, it's a very big celebratory weekend where Swami's birthday comes because it's called the Thanksgiving weekend in America. The Thanksgiving weekend is celebrated by the whole country to give thanks for all the wonderful things we have in our life. That is a national holiday actually. So Thanksgiving and Swami's birthday comes on the same weekend. So wherever we went to do anything, it was very crowded, just like now yesterday for your celebrations, Bombay was crowded. So what I did was, after finishing the rehearsals on the day before, on the 22nd, I went to the grocery store because I wanted to buy flowers and fruits for my own puja in the morning, next day, for Swami's birthday. I finished shopping and it was about 5:30 in the evening. And there in the US in the winter, it gets dark around 4 o'clock because it's cold and it's wintry and it was quite cold. I finished doing my shopping and I went to the ATM drive-through machine to draw some money. Next day in the morning I had my puja and in the evening I had our center celebration. As I drove into the ATM machine, I withdrew some money and I had my door open because I'm short, I couldn't reach the buttons. So I withdrew some money with my door open with one leg out, and then I was just putting the money into my purse when the back door of my car opened and some man got in. A white brown haired man got into the car. And he just grabbed my hair and pulled my head back and put a very big steak knife to my throat and said, "Drive, drive." I had a neck, my head pulled back. "Drive, drive, drive," he said. Without any knowledge, my hand, there is a small sticker of Swami in my car. My thumb went on Swami's picture, that's all. But my head was back. And he kept saying, "Drive." But I couldn't drive because one leg was outside, the door was open. So I said, "I have to close the door." So he loosened my hair and I closed the door and I could see in my rear view mirror that had his hat pulled down. He said, "Drive." So I said, "Look, if it's my money that you want, because I just withdrawn money." I said, "If it's the money that you want, I'll give it to you." By which, he just kept saying, "Drive." By which time, suddenly, 3 police cars, we could hear the sirens going. They just came and blocked my exit, So if I'm parked, my car is parked here, 2 cars just blocked my exit. 6 or 7 police officers got out and they started to walk. And somewhere in the vicinity of that table over there, they all stopped because they could see that this fellow had a knife and they didn't want to agitate him. So they just stopped and I could look in the mirror, and of course nobody expects such a thing to happen in their own lives, right? So I had not practiced any speeches. So I told in the mirror to him. I don't know how Swami gave me the calm. Only my hand was on Swami's picture. I didn't call out Sairam, nothing. I said, "Look, if it's the money you want, you can take it. But you can see that I cannot drive." He was asking me to, the police cars have blocked. So I cannot drive. So why don't you just get on from the car and give yourself up? Because there's no way that I can drive out of here. And we could hear more police sirens coming. There was a car behind me waiting to use the ATM, and he had seen this guy get into my car and he had called 911 actually. That's how the police cars, they came within 2.5 minutes, they came. And I said, "Why don't you get down and go? Because even if you do something to me, you won't be able to escape because all these police officers are surrounding. Why don't you give yourself up?" I'm talking to him as though I know him for 20 years. I don't know how I did that. So then there was a dead silence. And suddenly the man said, to me it felt like 15 minutes, but it was only a minute or so. He said, "How come you're not scared?" So I said, "What is the use of being scared? You are going to do whatever you are going to do. My children were in first year of college. My children are high school, I think. My children are grown up. So if it's my time to go, it's time to go. But you will not escape. Look, They'll all get you. Why don't you give yourself up? Again I said to him very calmly. Again there was a silence. Suddenly he said, okay. And he opened the door, let my hair go, took out the knife and started to walk to the front of the car. He had barely walked to the headlights of my car. 6 officers just grabbed him, and they are all well-trained officers. Within a split second, they had him in leg chains and hand chains and leg pulled back, completely chained. 2 of them just picked him up by the chains and threw him into the police car. And I was feeling very bad because I had convinced this man I didn't know they were going to do all this. I never seen anything like this in my life before. I was feeling very bad. I convinced this fellow to get out. Why they're treating him like this, like an animal almost, putting. And then the police officers came running to me and said, ma'am, are you okay? Are you okay? And I got out of the car. And there was a big crowd around the car because they had seen the whole incident. But people don't crowd there because they allow the police officers to do their work. So they were all around. And I came out, and this big, tall African-American police officer just picked me up like a child and showed me to, she's okay, everybody go home and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Go. He picked me up like a child, Then he drove my car to the parking lot of the bank. And he said, can you give a report? What did you say to him? Are you okay? Is your neck okay? They wanted to make sure I was okay. And I was quite calm, and he said, what did you say to him? And I told him my conversation. And he said, you're very, very fortunate that you talked to him so calmly, because he was already escaping from a penitentiary. And that's why he was running. He was not interested in the money. He was interested in escaping. And the police were already following him somewhere, and they had missed him. So he said, they're not interested in the money. What did you say to him? It's a good thing you were calm, because if you had been agitated, he would have hurt you. And I told them, and he said, very good, we want to tell you something. We are very glad that it was you that he attacked. Because if some other woman started to scream, he would have done something. It's good. So we talked, and he said, do you want to come to the police? But I kept asking him, why did you people throw him in the car? Doesn't he get a lawyer? He needs a lawyer. So they said, ma'am, worry about your lawyer. Why you are worried about that criminal's lawyer? I said, no, but I don't like the way you people put chains. They said, we can't take a risk. There are so many people in the crowd. He might grab another person as a hostage. So we have to do that. You don't worry about his lawyer. Then they said, you come to the police station and give a report. So I said, he's that guy going to the jail now, because I don't want him to hurt anybody. Yes, he has got a long list of things. He's going not to. I said, then I don't want to add to his problems. If he's already in jail, what is there for me to come? So I am not going to come. I don't want to make an official report. You write down whatever you all want. So the police officer drove me home. And I came home. By this time, it is 8 o'clock in the night. Tomorrow morning is Swami's birthday. All this is going on. Now, what had happened during this whole incident in the car? This fellow had a knife, and I had my head pulled back, and he's saying drive, and I'm telling him something. Why don't you get out? But the mind, like Swami said, is a mad monkey. It doesn't think of one thing, it thinks of 10 things. So while I was talking to that fellow, in my head I was thinking, if in this moment I don't believe that Swami is with me, what a waste of Swami's time, and what a waste of my time. I spent 45 years at his lotus feet, enjoying so much grace. And in this moment, if I don't believe Swami is with me, then what kind of a devotee am I? I cannot call myself a devotee. I have to believe that. This is what I'm thinking. Second thing I'm thinking, Swami always says, this body is like an old shirt. When it is ready, time to give up, you should give it up without any hesitation. So if this is my time, I should give up this body without any hesitation. It's like an old shirt. Why worry about it? My children are not small babies. I was thinking like this, but I was talking to that fellow. Anyway, I came home. My husband was really nervous about the whole thing. All this had happened. I told him what had happened. Then I told only my husband, it's such a crazy thing, this mind. I'm talking to that fellow, but I'm thinking like this. My husband said, you are totally crazy. Anyway, this was the conversation. After Swami's birthday was over, my parents were in Puttaparthi. I knew they'll come back to Bangalore on 27th, so I called them. I didn't want to scare them or anything. I wanted to tell them, to tell Swami, thank you Swami for saving me. So I picked up the phone and I called my mother, 27th of November, she had come back. And as soon as I called, she said, are you okay? Are you okay? I said, yes, why? She said, on Swami's birthday, when he's going in the procession with the Veda chanting and bhajan singing and band and all that, I'm sitting in the line. Swami comes in the darshan line and comes to me and stops the procession and says, "How is Geeta?" So my mother said, "Swami, I came on Ladies' Day, Swami. I think she's all right. She's okay." Swami said, "Oh, you think she's okay? I came on 17th itself, Swami." So Swami said, "Now she's okay," he said, and walked away. This, you must remember, is on 23rd morning. In USA, it is 22nd night. 22nd night in USA and 23rd morning birthday celebration in India. So my mother didn't know. So as soon as she came and I called, she said, "Are you okay?" Because Swami said, "Is Geeta okay?" And then he said, "You are okay now." So then I told her the whole incident and I said, this happened. So my mother was crying on the phone, getting scared 4 days after the event. Like any mother. I said, "I'm okay, I'm talking to you. What are you crying about?" So I said, "Please convey my loving pranams to Swami." So my father said he's coming on December 5th to Bangalore to look at the super specialty hospital construction because the inauguration is going to happen. So I will convey your thanks to Swami. So Swami arrived on December 5th to Bangalore. He went and looked at the hospital and came to Trai Brindavan. My father was always looking. My father was also Swami's attendant. My father was a dental surgeon but spent all his life at Swami's feet. He used to look after Swami in Brindavan. So Swami called all the college boys for one of the evening sessions. He had just arrived. My father didn't have chance yet to tell him. Everybody was sitting. He was talking to the college boys. Suddenly he turned to my father. Unlike me, my father was a man of very, very few words. He was a very quiet man. Swami turned to my father and said, "Padmanabh, tell all the boys what happened to Geeta." My father has not even told him yet. "Tell all the boys what happened." I told you my father was a man of few words. He stood up and he said, "My daughter was attacked on the 22nd in USA by some fellow. With Swami's grace, Swami took care of her and she's okay now." And he sat down. See how long I have taken 8 minutes to tell you this story. My father said it in one line. So Swami started to laugh. He said, "What? You have taken less time than what the incident happened. What kind of narration is that?" Then Swami started to tell the boys that, in America, you can drive up and draw the machine. From a machine, you can draw money. If you press the buttons, remember it's his 75th birthday now. Even in India, ATM machines are there. At that time, there were no ATM machines. So if you press the button, money will come out. And all the boys are looking with the eyes wide open. He said, "Don't think money will simply come out. If you have money in the account, it will come out. Otherwise, nothing will come out." So she took the money and Swami described the whole incident to the boys and said, "See, out of sheer practice," he even told that, I had not told my mother this, out of sheer practice her hand went on Swami's picture on the, she didn't call Sairam, but every morning when she gets into the car, she touches Swami's picture and she says, "Swami, let's go for a ride." She tells me every time, "Swami, let's go for." So her hand went to the picture out of habit. That is why you have to practice. So in times of need, your mind and brain will do what you even don't think. You don't even have to think. It becomes a habit. That's why you have to develop the habit of Namasmarana. So he told the boys that. She put her hand and then he said, "That Padmanabh's daughter, little bit crazy," he told the boy. He always says that to me, "Pichi." He says, "Crazy." So, what she was doing? She's telling that fellow, "Why don't you get down?" All that. But in her mind, she's thinking about something else. What is she thinking? She's thinking that after 40 years, if I don't believe Swami is with me, it is not only time waste for Swami, time waste for me also. Look at her, she thinks it's time waste coming to me. She's thinking like that. Then she's thinking, this body is like an old shirt. If it is time to give up, you should give up. Why she's saying body is like an old shirt? She's a lady, she wears saris. She says body is like she should wear old sari. Then you say, "You see, in America, they wear pant and shirt, the ladies. That's why she's thinking like that." It's a beautiful sense of humor. Even in spirituality, Swami shows us humor. He was proving that he is the Sarvantaryami. He is everywhere, every moment, but with humor. The lesson of omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience, all the three words which we have to look in the dictionary to find the spelling, all that consists of divine energy, he was able to narrate as though it was a simple story in a laughing manner. See, out of sheer habit, what to do? She's talking like this. So I had to make that fellow's buddhi change. To change the buddhi of a criminal. Only Bhagwan can do that. Only Bhagwan can do that. So he said application in three ways. One is faith and practice by putting. Second is calm and peacefully talking. Third is that fellow's buddhi had to be changed. All three happened in sequence, one after the other. That fellow got out. And then she's even more crazy. She wants lawyer for the criminal who attacked her. She's telling the police officer, get him a lawyer. See how she is? But that is prema. Prema, I said. So he narrated this whole thing. After 7 months I went, this happened in November, I went in the month of August to see Swami. My throat had completely become hoarse because he had put so much pressure on my vocal cord with the knife. I could not sing bhajans or anything. And Swami called for an interview, and such a beautiful, loving mother. As soon as we entered the interview room, he closed the door, he sat on the chair, he got up from the chair and came to me. I was still entering the room. He put his hand on my neck and said, Chala noppa? He said, is it paining a lot? 7 months have gone by, still can't sing bhajan? No, Swami, little difficult to speak. Don't worry, he gave me some chain. He said, wear the chain, you'll feel better. Poor thing, you were really, he pressed very hard on me. And then he said, see, Padmana, then he teased my father. See, Padmana, in 2 lines he told the whole story. In 2 lines he told the whole story. So the point of this long narration that I was giving was that the minute we know, we have all read, now we have celebrated Janmashtami, we've all read the Bhagavatam. Krishna Janmashtami, we all read Krishna's Bhagavatam. We talk about Draupadi saying, oh Hrudayavasi, where are you? And that's when he came because he's in the heart. We all know the stories. We tell our Balavikas children. But we forget that the Sai Krishna is a Hrudayavasi in all our hearts. We have to address that. I didn't address him, but he came. I didn't call out his name. But when he wants to respond, he certainly will. So having shown his omnipresence, wherever we are, whether it is in America, whether you are in Maharashtra, whether you are in Karnataka, it doesn't matter. We just have to love him and try to practice a little bit of what he says. I just want to finish up with one last thing, that what Swami expects us as devotees to become. He has set a very high goal. It's very difficult for us to reach that goal, but the goal has to be high. If we want to become better, we want to become better spiritual beings. So I will tell you this small incident and then I will end and let you all get on with your evening. I was very fortunate. I spent all my birthdays either in Prashanti Nilayam or in Vrindavan when I was a child, and I used to take roses for my birthday. When I turned 20 years of age, Swami asked me when I went for my birthday, how old are you today? I said, Swami, I am 20. Oh, 20. What are the 2 numbers in 20? 2 and 0, I said. Oh, really? 2 and 0. What does 2 stand for? I said, I don't know, Swami. With Swami, better to say I don't know. Because whatever you tell, he will tell a different thing. So I don't know, Swami. Shraddha, Bhakti. You all know what Shraddha and Bhakti is: sincerity, faith and devotion. He said at the age of 20, you must develop Shraddha and Bhakti, devotion and sincerity, faith in God. Go and practice, he told me. Go and practice. So I said, okay, for a few days, we are very sincere about everything. Few more days, we show a lot of love. After that, back to usual. Went on. Every year I used to go for birthday. After that, nothing. He never asked me anything. 10 years went by. I turned 30. He said, how old are you today? 30, Swami. Oh, 30? What numbers? 3 and 0. What does 30 mean? I don't know, Swami. Trikarna Shuddhi. Purity in thought, word and action. I told you, 20 is what? Shraddha Bhakti. I've given you 10 years. If you have been practicing that for 10 years, Shraddha and Bhakti, at the age of 30, you must be able to start practicing purity of thought, word and action. Trikarna Shuddhi. Go practice. Finished. 3 days, you are very truthful. You don't want to think bad things. Don't want to say bad things. After that, back to normal. Years went by. 40th birthday, I came from USA now. How old? He asked me. 40, Swami. Oh, getting on in age. 40. Yes, Swami. Now I was ready. What number? He's going to ask. Only that time he asked that. What numbers? 4 and 0. What does it stand for? I don't know, Swami. I know 20 and 30, Swami. What is 20 and 30? Shraddha Bhakti Trikarna Shuddhi. I know it. I have not practiced. That's why I said I don't say I have learnt at his feet. Because we only have the knowledge. We are not practicing. 4. He said 40. 4 Purusharthas, he said. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, righteousness. Artha, wealth. Kama, desire. Moksha, liberation. Dharma, Artha. Earn your wealth. Earn your Artha dharmically. Earn your wealth with Dharma. Kama, Moksha. Have the desire for moksha. Not for the shopping I went today with Vidya. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. 40. Go practice. If you have done Trikarna Shuddhi, that should be easy, no? If you have been practicing purity, then the desires automatically go down. Go practice. Finished. 40. Again for few days, everything happens. After that, back to the mundane world. And then years went by, I didn't get a chance. Swami never asked me after that. So years went by. It was my father's 80th birthday. I'll take 2 more minutes, by sir. It was my father's 80th birthday. And we were sitting in the interview room and Swami had a beautiful celebration for my father. He got up from the chair and hugged my father and said, Padmanabh, you have come to me at the age of 21. You are 80 today. You were 21, I was 18. He told everybody, Padmanabh is older than me. I always listen to whatever he tells me. You were 21, I was 18. Today you are 80. You are my Hanuman, he said. And gave him a Hanuman pendant and I hugged him. I don't like to be without you. Why don't you come with me all the time? I don't like to be without you. So very beautiful celebration for my father. It was a very emotional thing for all of us. And he sat down. And he looked at my father. I told you he was a man of very few words. Padmanabh, how old again are you? 80. What is the meaning of the 80th birthday? So I am getting ready now. I know that face and laser eyes will turn to me. I have had so much practice. My father said, I don't know, Swami. For everything my father will say, I don't know, Swami. Amy, what is 80th? He asked me. What is 80th? What number? 8 and 0. What does it mean? I said, Swami, what happened to 50, 60 and 70? You are jumping from 40 to 80. He said, okay, tell them what it is. So I told everybody in the room, 20 Shraddha Bhakti, 30 Trikarna Shuddhi, 40 Purusharthas. Swami, I don't know 50. So look at this lovely Lord. You don't know 50? Very easy. 50. 5 senses, control. 50. Control the 5 senses. If you have reduced your desires, your desire is for moksha and you are doing dharmic life, very easy. 5 senses always under control. Because body is made up of 5 elements. You have to control the sense. Then what is 66? Oh, those 6 shadripus, those 6 enemies. You know, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all this lust and desire and anger. You have to start practicing that. He said, I am giving you 10 years time for each. 10 years, 60. 70, if you have done all this, you have controlled all the enemies, 6 enemies. At the age of 70, you should become like the Saptarishi. 7 great rishis. See, the 7 rishis, they can live on the earth, they can walk into heaven. They are both here and there because they have a human body. So you should become like the Saptarishis. At the age of 80, you should become like the Ashtadikpalakas, the 8 deities that look after the 8 directions. All they do, they serve the Lord. That's it. Nothing else. 8 directions. They just serve the Lord. If you are like that, at the age of 90, you will become like the Navagrahas, the 9 planets. What do the Navagrahas do? They go around the sun. Nothing else. On around the Lord. All the time. 9 Navagrahas. Then you become 100 years, which is supposed to be a human lifetime. What is 100? 100. You and I are one. One. You are back to one. So beautifully he explained what is the goal of human life. Having such a high goal, having met in this beautiful hall, which you all have the good fortune of being able to meet, I hope that all of us, together in this journey towards him, will remember a few things that he has told us and try to bring it into our own lives. Thank you and Sai Ram for having me here today. Sai Ram.